All right, we got a great guest to talk about where we are with the infrastructure package and who is looking to profit off of building our nation's infrastructure. Executive editor at The American Prospect, David Dayen. Great to see you, David.
Good to see you, David.
Good to be here. First time.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome to Breaking Points. New old friend of the show.
Yeah.
So talk to us first about just where we are with the bipartisan infrastructure package. Seemed like it was close and ready to go, and now it sort of seems like the wheels have fallen off.
Yeah. I mean, we get conflicting reports. You hear that they're 90% there or 95% there. And then you also hear things like, it's completely done except for the part about mass transit, highways, bridges, broadband, and wages. So except for everything, they've got it covered. So I don't know exactly where we're going to be. I know there's sort of a soft deadline in the next 24 to 48 hours. One of the problems is that Democrats need to know whether this bill is going to go before they run their budget resolution, which will be the prelude to the reconciliation bill, because that bill has a number attached to it. The idea is if the bipartisan bill happens, then the reconciliation bill will be at 3.5 trillion. But if it doesn't happen, they will fold all of that spending into the reconciliation bill. And you simply need to know ahead of time what the upper limit for spending is on that reconciliation bill in order to pass the budget resolution that sets the stage. So that's why Schumer, I think, has been speeding up this or trying to speed up this process. And that's going to come to a head pretty soon.
One of the things that you've been pointing to and we wanted to cover is specifically how private equity is eyeing some of the benefits within this bill. Can you go through what we have? We have one of them specifically. It's the second tear sheet that we built here. Go ahead and put that up there on the screen. Eyeing federal infrastructure windfall, private equity, courts, public utilities. Tell us about that, David.
Yeah, this was a great piece by our new writing fellow, Lee Harris, who talked to this company called Bernhard Capital, that has for a little while now tried to approach mid-sized cities, usually poor cities in the Southeast that have crumbling infrastructure systems, and offer them a deal. Say, we'll front you a bunch of money. All you have to do is give us a long-term lease on your public power or water system and let us run it for 30 years, 75 years, and keep all the profits. So this is a considered strategy on the part of Bernhard Capital and perhaps other private equity firms. And the particulars, particularly of the bipartisan infrastructure bill, might facilitate that, because one of the so-called pay-fors in that bill is public-private partnerships and something called asset recycling. Public-private partnerships just means exactly what I said, the leasing out the management and operations of a public asset, an infrastructure asset like a utility or a water system or something like that. There will be incentives, I guess, in the bill for that. And the other, asset recycling, is essentially selling off older infrastructure to pay for newer infrastructure. And I guess the way this would work in the federal bill is that there would be an incentive for a city to sell off their water system the way that Bernhard Capital wants. And the federal government would give a small incentive, cash incentive, to the city in order to do that. So instead of the government having to pay for a new highway in that city, they would just give 10%. As a boost to the money that the city is going to generate by selling off their own infrastructure. And what you get in that process is the potential for higher rates in terms of whether it's rate paying and utilities or toll roads or things like that. You lose democratic control over that asset. often maintenance sags, labor sags, because now it's a for-profit business, and any cuts to the spending side show up in the profit side. So it's really, really dangerous, and it's easily the most dangerous part of this bipartisan package.
Well, and Trump had proposed something similar, as you pointed out, and there were a lot of voices raised in upset over that proposal when it came from Trump. Haven't heard much concern this time around. And it strikes me as relevant to another piece that you all just published about how Joe Biden defanged the left by basically giving them access, but then not really doing any of the things that they wanted him to do. Just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, Alex Salmon wrote that piece for our upcoming issue. We released it on Monday. So, but yeah, I wouldn't characterize it as similar to the Trump proposal. I would characterize it as the same as the Trump proposal. This is what infrastructure was envisioned like under Donald Trump. In fact, Lee Harris talked to DJ Gribbin, who was Donald Trump's infrastructure guy, who was praising the bipartisan infrastructure framework and saying that things like the Tennessee Valley Authority were, quote, historical aberrations, that that the federal government should never get involved in publicly providing these kinds of assets. So this is really very, very similar, and you have this situation where the professional groups on the left have been very tied into discussions and access with the Biden White House, and that has been seen as a way to placate those groups who have then. It's not like they're being told to censor themselves, or not like they're being told to quiet any kind of dissension. They're just doing it. They're just doing it on their own. It's a form of, I guess, self-censorship. So that is going to make it difficult to see real changes on the progressive side. Now, I mean, the Biden White House contains multitudes, and there have been some advances, some very good, I think, progressive advances in certain areas. But until there's sort of a sustained outcry and real pressure from the left, I think that's going to inevitably be limited.
Yeah, well, then the only pressure is coming from like private equity and corporate America and conservative Democrats. You end up with, dystopian things like asset recycling.
Yeah,
David,
right.
Thank you so much for your terrific reporting on this and for being on the show today. We appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Our pleasure.
Okay, guys, thank you guys for watching that recorded interview. We loved talking to David. Hope you enjoyed those beautiful new bricks behind us, and you can become a premium subscriber today. Link down there in the description. Get the show an hour early. Watch, listen, support our work here. We really appreciate it. We've got some fun improvements that are coming here on the show, which is 100% powered by all of you. So we cannot thank you guys enough. We're at 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. Who the hell knew that was going to happen?
Definitely did not think that was going to happen that fast. I
Yeah.
definitely thought it would take a while
Right.
to rebuild, where we were with Rising, but you guys came through really quickly for us. So we are so grateful for that. Everybody have a fantastic day, and we will see you back here on Thursday. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut, our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it, you get to ask us questions, all that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.